What's up, YouTube? Today, we're looking at a piece of gear that a lot of people don't have. I can see it where if you are or have not ever worked in security, this would not be really a cop or some pretty serious crowd control, or you just wouldn't think about, in a WROL, SHTF, so that's without rule of law, shit hits the fan type scenario, which we've talked about before. Nothing Fancy does a good job of really fleshing out these terms, but they're pretty, common. This is something that's going to be useful, because if everything does go south or pear-shaped, you're going to have to compete with other people for resources. And I'm not going to think of situations where you would have to take control of a person simply because it gets dark fast, but, because no one wants to do, harm to another, really. I believe most people do not, unless you're just like a psychopath or a sociopath or have some kind of schizo-typal personality. These are going to be useful. I bought these 2007. Oh, before that. I bought these 2006-ish. Maybe more like 2005. So we're talking like 15, 20, 23 years ago. Okay? About. Maybe that math is off. I don't think it is, though. Wait, yeah, it is. More like 15, 17. When I bought them, I was at some, one of the cop shops where they buy all their stuff and, like, they sell stuff. And these were recommended. They are Peerless, is what they're called. And everybody was like, if you want them to last, get Peerless. Peerless Handcuff Company. Springfield, Massachusetts. I don't know if they're still going, but these things are literally just as tight as the day I got them. That one's not as tight. This one, though, it's a lot tighter. I mean, not a lot tighter. It's just stiffer. I'll put it that way. And along with these, you're going to want several ways to unlock them, because these keys tend to, I don't know, they almost burrow away, it seems like sometimes. This is Zach's Tools. Zach Tool. Oops, let me get back on camera. Coffin-shaped handcuff key holder. It used to clip shut, but I carried it in something where it was bent down for a long time. So if I were to carry this for real, I would probably wrap it with something. But this is just like a little way to make it easier. This is something that, let me show you. Let me pull all of the stuff out of my wallet. God damn it. Fuck. All right. So, this is how I carry this. This works, by the way. I don't remember where I got this from. If you look around, you'll find it. A lot of places you can carry this little guy, obviously, because it's tiny. I carry it right here. So I literally always have one. This one I got kind of more as a gag, but I like it because it's big. Right? It's going to be harder to lose. It's sturdy. It's kind of funny, like a cop type thing. You can have it on your key ring, or it's just hard to get lost. These guys also, believe it or not, say this was all you had or something along those lines. Very quickly, they turn into knuckle dusters. And yes, people, this is effective. I mean, think about punching someone with these. It's also funny that the same people that say these are an effective tool for punching, some of them will be like, don't punch with brass knuckles. And it's like, what? Like, how is it so, what is the incontinuity of like your thought process? Yeah, these are like no frills. I've had them forever. They still work. I don't know what the best brand is now, but I can say that if you get a good pair, and I wore these in Iraq during a combat tour. I carried them. I don't know if we ever cuffed anybody up with them in Iraq. We might have. I've done it in like civilian security bouncing type stuff. Even though it's like pretty taboo, but sometimes people are just out of control. So you're like, no, you're done. That probably was over the line, but you can, in a lot of security situations, like say someone's super duper drunk and they're trying to drive. At some point, it's like, I need to restrain you because you are like about to, totally cross the line. But yeah, these things are good to go. Good piece of gear. Overlooked, I would say, by most. And the reason not by me, it's because the infantry experience is oftentimes much different than other type of things. And it's telling that I've never heard a Navy SEAL talk about this. Because I feel like the Navy SEALs, obviously, they're killing everybody. But the Marines, even though we're shock troops and we're mostly used for wrecking things on a more grand scale, we're still dealing with crowd control, with the indigenous, with whoever is around. And as a Marine, you don't have any... I mean, this is better than zip cuffs because I can reuse them, right? And I have the key on me over there. Obviously, I carried it like kind of with a lanyard through this hole. This hole. And yeah, you're going to want cuffs that you can put them on them nice and snug, but not tight, and then lock them in so this doesn't tighten up, because they do hurt. That's something that I try to be sensitive to, or I was sensitive to, tried to be back in the day. I don't really use these anymore, but they're still a great piece of gear that I have around for a reason. You just got to be sensitive to, especially if somebody's built, they're pretty jacked, or say they're fat, and their relaxed state is going to be, they're pulling these apart pretty hard, so you're going to want to give them some room. And most people, their wrists are much smaller than their hands. And if you've got, the thing about taking, POWs or whatever you want to call them, the thing about it is that you should always have eyes on them. I know in movies, people are just left in a room or to their own devices. That's literally never going to happen. If you're ever taken hostage, they'll probably never leave you alone. It's just why would you leave people alone? Because you're not going to get out of these right away, and you're going to struggle to get out of them. But if I were to leave you in these for a while, I don't know, my confidence level would go down. As soon as say I had to leave you or whoever, we have a POW, I cuff them, we leave them in a room, we barricade them, we'll be right back. I come back 2 hours later, I would definitely check them immediately, but I would also maybe even reapply, take them off, see what's up, put them back on, and be like, oh, hey, does that fit better? And then, yeah, it's me being courteous and nice, but it's also me really making sure, has this person figured out a way to get out of these? Also, some people can put their hands down and their feet through, right? Like you see in the movies. And then all of a sudden they have these in front of them. You can't leave people, the idea, it's just a Hollywood BS thing where you leave people restrained in places. You would never do that, right? You would just never do that. Just like in the BDSM community, they say never leave somebody tied up. Because if you do leave them for a long period of time tied up, blood clots form. That I'm sure is possible in this case. You're just taking prisoners is a very involved and manpower intensive thing, to the point in the Marines where when I was in basically universally, and it's what I taught my dudes, maybe it's real naughty, but it's not though, actually. So not to take prisoners. Don't, if somebody if somebody wants to surrender before the battle, say the battle is like the next day, it's obviously going to be the next day. People run up to the fob or wherever you're at, and they're like the base, the camp. I want to turn myself in. That's one thing, but like you're rolling up, and now all of a sudden people are too scared to fight. I don't know. That's going to be on the individual person. Personally, I mean, like if you shoot at me even a little bit, you're probably not getting taken hostage. Or hostage, POW style thing. Like I said, the talking about the use of, infringing on somebody's freedom of movement, it gets dark because basically it's what, I forget his name, but an old poet, my dad, he talked about the tyranny of steel. And that's what you're doing, is that you're taking somebody totally under your control. It is definitely a use of force, and you're impeding somebody's, their ability to live. And if you're not a cop, or if you're not in a situation where you've been specifically licensed to use these, X, Y, and Z, probably not going to be a legal application of force. You're probably going to be in huge trouble for false imprisonment, false arrest style things. However, the WROL, SHTF scenario, that, there is no law, so you're not infringing. You just got to be careful. But if you were to see these for a good price, I paid $60 for these, for a good price at, like, say, a gun show, I would pick some up. Maybe run a Google search on the brand, but I mean, I've had these around 15 years, and they cost $60, so less than $10 a year. Like, that's $4 a year. These things are fine. They're going to last my entire life. If you were to, what ones that are better are the ones with the hinges, the hinge cuffs, because they really do immobilize. These give you some room. With the hinge cuffs, you have that flex, and that's it. So anyway, that's about all she wrote for this one. Thanks for sticking with me to the end. Hope you folks have a great rest of your day. Bye now.